I'm the chairwoman of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors, here today to lend my strong support to oppose a statewide tax on our most precious natural resource, water. In fact, it's fortuitous that we stand here today next to the sculpture fountain behind me, which is called the Guardian of the Water. Indeed, today we are guarding our water from an unprecedented tax proposal in Sacramento. Let's be clear, we all support clean, safe, and reliable water for all Californians, and we agree with the importance of helping disadvantaged communities improve access to safe water supplies. It's a public health and social issue that the state should address. But we oppose misguided efforts to force Californians to pay a tax on drinking water, a basic human necessity. It would set a terrible precedent that will only make it harder for our residents, especially low-income and fixed-income residents, to afford this basic human necessity. Thankfully, there are better ways to fund drinking water upgrades in those parts of the state that need our help the most. So today, we stand here united with water agencies, taxpayer advocates, and others statewide to say no to the water tax and yes to a better solution to helping communities that need additional investments in clean water. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Haney Hong, CEO of the San Diego County Taxpayers Association.
Well, thank you there, Supervisor Gaspar. For the last 73 years, the San Diego County Taxpayers Association, you've trusted us to advocate for effective and efficient public policy. And that's why we strongly oppose this tax on drinking water. Everyone supports access to safe drinking water, and we appreciate our community's shared responsibility to assist those who can't help themselves. But our association's job is to evaluate whether this type of market intervention would be an appropriate way of tackling the problem, which, folks, it is not. Increasing the price of water for all consumers is obviously not the best way it's obviously not the best way to increase access to safe drinking water. It's an inefficient solution to this important public problem. Now, why not collect more revenue from the actual polluters as opposed to the rest of us, all the consumers? It doesn't make sense to place a disproportionate responsibility on ratepayers to clean up groundwater contamination caused by others. This water tax would subvert a core tenet of pollution cleanup, which is the polluter pays. You can see here today that the Taxpayers Association is not alone in this perspective. A recent statewide poll showed that nearly 3/4 of Californians oppose the water tax, and opposition was strong across all demographic groups, geographic locations, and party affiliation. Californians of all stripes are tired of our state turning towards tax increases to solve problems that can and should be addressed through strong leadership and effective public management. Now I'd like to invite Don Billings to discuss the impact of California's heavy tax burden on our residents.
Thank you, Haney. My name is Don Billings. I'm the former chair of the City of San Diego's Independent Rates Oversight Committee. It's a committee that was established in 2007 to bring a citizen's voice and perspective to the way the City of San Diego collects and deploys water customers' funds. I'm here today in my capacity as a water customer. Now, in San Diego, we have an admirable record of planning for the long term and investing wisely to ensure that we have the water supplies we need today and for decades to come. Our very responsible approach has been validated time and again by the major credit rating agencies. Unfortunately, some people think that cities that manage their ratepayer funds responsibly should now pay for cities that don't. So Sacramento has a new idea. Sacramento wants to break from long-standing practice and tax our water. That's a new tax every time you fill your glass, a tax to take a bath, a tax to do the laundry, a tax to water your flowers. It's a terrible idea. So let me talk first principles. In San Diego, we are very careful to use the money we receive from water customers exclusively for water projects that benefit San Diegans. We do not let the city use that money for any other purpose. In San Diego, you don't pay a tax on water. You simply pay for the cost of the water you use. That's a promise we make, and it's a promise we keep. That's why we must object in the strongest terms to any attempt to divert our citizens' water funds for any other purpose. That's why we must say no to Sacramento's money grab. Now, what's wrong with this water tax? First, it's a slippery slope. If Sacramento puts a tax on our water supplies to pay for things that have no benefit to San Diego water customers, it will surely discover ways to raise that tax next year and the year after that. Just watch. Sacramento will come back for more and more. It's as if Sacramento is taking some of our water and refusing to pay for it. This is dishonest, and it violates our promise to our citizens. Second, the water tax would put in jeopardy our sterling credit ratings by injecting a new risk of unlimited Sacramento raids on our water funds. That, too, would drive up credit costs, drive up water rates, thereby compounding the damage. And third, as I said, our water bill has always been based strictly on the cost of providing safe and reliable water. It's not a tax that goes to the general fund. It's payment for water services, period. That's why we can set water rates following a transparent, non-political process. And if we don't stop Sacramento's water tax, this process could be upended and cause legal uncertainty that will also surely drive up water rates, again, for no good reason. And finally, I'm wary of the state forcing local water agencies into the role of state tax collectors. This creates yet more bureaucracy and undermines the local investments necessary to maintain our region's water treatment delivery systems. So if Sacramento wants money to pay for a new social program or for whatever purpose, it should do so in the open, in the time-honored way, and not by midnight rates on our taxpayer funds. In San Diego, we're keeping our promises to our water ratepayers. And when Sacramento tries to break those promises, we must call them out. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Mr. Monger.
Thank you, Don. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jack Monger. I'm the CEO of the Industrial Environmental Association, or IEA. IEA has been around San Diego for 35 years, and we represent approximately 50 large manufacturing companies in the San Diego region who together account for more than 55,000 jobs in San Diego alone. Many of our companies are core manufacturing companies, some of whom use very large amounts of water, and all of them have worked diligently over the past few years to be good stewards of this precious resource. California's ever-increasing taxes make it harder for our companies to compete with companies in low-cost states and even in other countries. Another fact, water is a major cost for many industrial businesses, so adding a tax is a major concern to our manufacturers. Another fact, one very troubling element of the proposed water tax is that other proposals to add additional taxes on water are already circulating in Sacramento. A precedent-setting tax today would lead to substantial monthly water bill increases that hurt residents and the economy alike. I'm happy to share that there are already several good options for funding access to clean water in disadvantaged communities, and those would include creating a trust fund with state budget surpluses, using funds from existing and future general obligation bonds. Proposition 68, for example, in the June water ballot already includes a $175 million allocation for safe drinking water. And at the same time, the state's general fund is also another resource. And finally, allowing for assessments on agricultural products that are connected to the problem of contaminated groundwater that Haney mentioned. Let's use those sources, or a combination of those sources, instead of adding to the financial burden that is carried by both residents, thousands of taxpayers, tens of thousands of taxpayers, and companies in our state. Last year, Californians got a new tax on gasoline. This year, we're seeing proposals for a tax on paint. Now, a tax on water. What's next? The air we believe? I think that's enough, and I hope we can go forward and put this bad idea aside. So with that, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Water Authority Chair Mark Muir.
Thank you very much, and thanks for sharing all those thoughts, very clear and concise. As has been noted, my name is Mark Muir. I'm the chairman of the San Diego County Water Authority. I'm an Encinitas City Council member, and I'm a board member of the San Diego Water District. The Water Authority strongly opposes the water tax, and many of our 24-member agencies are represented here today to show their opposition to this as well. Our mission at the Water Authority focuses on cost-effectively managing the region's water portfolio while continuing to diversify supplies and enhancing reliability. This doesn't and shouldn't include collecting taxes for the state. The proposed tax is unlikely to generate any substantial benefit for San Diego County. From the start, the focus has been funding the Central and Salinas valleys. A tax on water is allowing the camel's nose under the tent, with a first modest tax increase, including longer, bigger tax increases in the future with additional projects and programs getting under the tent. And thanks for the vast majority of Californians who oppose this water tax. I think the polling said that 73% of registered voters in California oppose this. We now ask our legislators and governors to listen to their constituents and find a better solution. So with this, I'll go ahead and conclude the press conference. There are many speakers here. You can talk to us individually. Thank you very much.